So what happens when federal workers speak out against regulations and actions that are happening in the federal government to the benefit of public safety and health? Well, what happens is they get fired. They lose their jobs. And that's what we're seeing this year across different agencies. Over 1,000 people have signed letters of dissent. Look at the EPA. Over 100 people over there recently signed a letter. And their main concern over at the EPA is the leadership is not taking into consideration the research EPA has already done. EPA has done scientific research and leadership is turning their back on it. Like, we don't want to see it. We don't want to consider it. What am I talking about? So here's an example. A glass of water. Drinking water. Drinking water has something in it called forever chemicals. That doesn't sound really good. Forever chemicals. These chemicals, when ingested over a long period of time, they could potentially cause cancer. Could potentially impact reproduction. So you don't want these chemicals in your water. But they're scaling back the rules and regulation to keep these chemicals out of the water. And what does that mean is when people drink it, you're going to be more at risk. This is filtered water. You might want to get a filter yourself. In addition to stuff like that, they're also shutting down offices that are dedicated towards research. Why would you shut them down? Because they interfere with corporate profits. It's no secret that the more you do to preserve and protect the environment, the lower your profits are going to go. It eats away at the profits. This is the same deal with the water, right? In order for the same level of compliance to happen, it would cost industries over $1 billion. Nobody wants to give up that money. You want to pony up that cash. If you're working in a corporation right now, if you're the leader of a corporation, you don't want to have to pony up that cash. So the letter comes out. 2 months later, we see over 100 people placed on administrative leave. You have people getting fired. You have others receiving a notice of proposed removal. So why were they on administrative leave? Well, it was because an investigation was taking place. Now, this isn't the administrative leave where you go on leave and you're getting paid. You know, the good type of administrative leave. This isn't paid administrative leave. This is administrative leave where you're not getting paid. So they were there for 2 weeks. They lost a full paycheck, and a lot of them could be losing their jobs. Now, who are these people that are signing the letter? Are these brand new people that just got here a few months ago? No, these are not entry-level workers. We're talking about scientists, researchers, people that are well-respected in their field that have been there for many years. When people join agencies like the EPA, there's a calling to civil service. And this idea seems like such a foreign concept to so many people, but there are people in this country that feel compelled to serve the public, to serve the nation in this way. So they feel passionate about the mission of the EPA. So when they see the agency going in a complete different direction, which could end up causing more harm to the people of the United States, then they take it personally. And they are willing to sign a letter saying no. They want people to be aware of it. They want the public to understand what is at risk. And they also feel somewhat betrayed by their agency. And whether they get fired or not, a lot of them are going to end up jumping ship. They're going to leave because they have marketable skills where they can still earn a decent living outside of the federal government. Now, all of this is happening while the EPA is currently struggling for people. So the EPA has been reduced by thousands, and it's really just the start because the goal for the EPA is to take it back to the staffing levels of the 1980s. To rewind the clock, to go back, 40 years, that staffing model, and to take it there. That means at least 4,000 more people have to leave the EPA. Whether they quit, they get fired, mandatory retirement, whatever way that they choose to squeeze them out, they're going to end up leaving. And on top of that, they got rid of the union contract, just like a lot of agencies. But with other agencies, the Trump administration said it was a national security matter, but EPA is not national security. So they're saying it's more of a management/political decision to make it more performance oriented. When you add the union in, everything moves slower. And the agencies want to function in a more agile way. They're trying to model it more like the private sector where they can fire and hire quicker. But this isn't just happening at the EPA. The EPA is not a one-off. This isn't an anomaly that has occurred. We've seen FEMA do the same thing. The National Science Foundation, they've done the same thing. HHS, they've done the same thing. So there's a lot of federal workers that are standing up, and what they're doing is they're voicing their concern because they don't believe that we have the public's best interest in mind. And what does this say about the federal government? The way that they handle people with opposing views is to place them on admin leave or to fire them. It's basically shut up and toe the line or your job is gone. Now, there's an alternative to this approach. You could listen. You can have a dialogue. You can create a formal channel where people can actually communicate with one another. It doesn't have to be my way or the highway. I mean, that's the way it is right now, but it does not have to be that way. You know, with leaders, I've worked under a lot of different leaders, and you always have the ones that have more of a dictatorship style, which is listen to what I say. I don't want you to give me any feedback. Just do your task and be quiet. Then there's other ones that welcome discussions. So the best kind that I've ran across are the leaders that say, I want you to disagree with me. Here's what I want you to do. Now disagree with me. You, everybody disagree with me so I can find the faults within my logic. Because there's not just one individual that has all the right answers. It takes a team. It takes different perspectives to come together. And if you can challenge my idea and you can find faults within it, then I can strengthen it. I can improve it. I can modify it so that it is a more effective idea. It's a more effective directive for you to accomplish. That is the leadership that most people want. They don't want the dictatorship type leadership. It's important to remember that the federal workers, the federal employees of this country, they swear an oath to the Constitution, not to a political party, not to an administration. A lot of people say the person who's holding the office of the president, they're in charge of the executive branch and everyone should bend the knee. But federal workers really are pledging an oath to the Constitution, and it's their job to ensure the public remains safe. So what happens when they realize they can no longer fulfill that responsibility? Because when they're vocal, when they speak out, they're punished. There's punitive actions that follow. So do experts stay silent? Is that what we're going to expect for the next 3 years? Everyone's going to stay silent? What's going to probably happen are a huge exodus of experts. And maybe that's what the administration's goal is currently, to get those people out of there. Only loyalty will be rewarded in this federal workforce. It seems like that might be the message that is coming out. Now, in addition to all of this, we have hiring caps. And a lot of different agencies are developing hiring caps where you cannot hire over a certain limit. Now, you might be asking, what if the mission changes? What if there's congressional appropriations and there's a new program that's formed? No, you stick to the hiring caps, and that's the end of the story. Now, this could create a huge issue because what we have in some agencies is the offices are accomplishing the task. They're doing the mission. They're doing it to a high standard, but they're understaffed. So they could be 30% understaffed. So currently, they're being burnt out. They're being ran ragged. They need more people. But from an upper level perspective, they can say, well, this office, they're accomplishing the mission. So we really don't need that extra 30%. Let's just cap them at 70. And that's the new standard. And there's no exemptions to that. So that could be the issue with these hiring caps, but there's a lot more to it. If you want to know more about that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.